Be me, 29, married for 4 years to Emma, 31. Relationship was great the first year, then started declining after we moved in together permanently. Sex went from spontaneous and fun to scheduled, then rare, then basically non-existent. Been maybe 3 months since we'd been intimate in any meaningful way. One Tuesday evening, I come home from work at the accounting firm. Emma's at the kitchen table with her laptop and what appears to be a fucking PowerPoint presentation queued up. I'm thinking maybe she got a promotion or wants to show me vacation ideas. Adam, we need to talk about our intimacy issues, she says. Oh no, she literally has a presentation, 37 slides, I counted. The first slide was titled Relationship Optimization Framework, a data-driven approach to sustainable intimacy. I stood there holding my messenger bag, tie loosened, just staring at the projected image on our living room wall. She'd moved the coffee table aside to make room for this. She'd prepared. Emma, what is this? I've been reading a lot about emotional labor and consent frameworks, she said, clicking to the next slide. And I think the reason we're struggling is because we haven't established clear protocols and boundaries. Slide 2 was a Venn diagram showing his needs, her needs, and a tiny sliver in the middle labeled Mutually Acceptable Compromise Zone. My wife has made a Venn diagram about our sex life. She walks me through the entire presentation. There are charts. There are fucking graphs with trend lines. One shows intimacy frequency over time, with projections into Q3 and Q4. She's applying quarterly business planning to our marriage. Slide 15 was where it got really special. The Consent and Comfort Matrix, a 4-tier approval system. She explained it like she was presenting to the board of directors. So Tier 1 is green light activities. These require only verbal confirmation day of. Tier 2 is yellow light activities requiring 24-hour advance notice. Tier 3 needs 72-hour notice and a written confirmation via text or email. Tier 4 is currently suspended pending quarterly review. What's Tier 4? I asked, though I already knew. Penetrative intimacy, she said, not meeting my eyes. The research shows that women experience significant emotional labor during heterosexual encounters, and I need to ensure I'm in the right headspace, which requires adequate mental preparation time. She wants me to file a request form 72 hours in advance to have sex with my wife. But wait, there's more. Slide 21 introduced the performance feedback loop. After each intimate encounter, we'll both fill out a brief survey rating various aspects on a scale of 1 to 10. This data will help us identify problem areas and track improvement over time. She showed me the survey template, 20 questions, rating scales, a comment section at the bottom for areas of improvement. Emma, I said carefully, this seems clinical. That's the point, she said, and for the first time she showed some emotion, frustration. You don't just get to have access to my body whenever you want, Adam. That's patriarchal bullshit. This creates a framework where my autonomy is respected and we both have clear expectations. She'd been spending time on some online forums. I could tell from the language, a lot of words like emotional labor and autonomy and framework. Not a lot of words like I miss you or I want to feel close to you. Okay, I said, because what else do you say? Can I think about this? I've already created a shared Google Calendar for scheduling and a folder in Google Drive with all the documentation. I need you to review the relationship handbook by Friday and sign the acknowledgement form. There was a handbook, 43 pages. I read it that night in bed while Emma slept next to me. It included things like, intimate interactions must not be initiated within 2 hours of the participant having consumed alcohol to ensure clear-headed consent. All requests for physical affection must be verbalized clearly. Non-verbal cues will not be accepted as they create ambiguity. Rejection of intimate advances must be accepted immediately without questioning, negotiation, or visible disappointment. Participants must maintain separate self-care time of minimum 90 minutes daily to prevent codependency. That last part was new. We weren't supposed to spend more than a certain amount of time together per day now. My marriage has become a HR compliance manual. I signed the acknowledgement form. What choice did I have? She was my wife. If this is what she needed to feel comfortable, then I'd try it. Narrator's note, this was a mistake. The first week, I actually tried to make it work within the system. Tuesday night, feeling romantic after we'd had a nice dinner. Put my hand on her shoulder while we're watching TV. Adam, that's a Tier 2 touch. You need to request that 24 hours in advance. Remove hand immediately. Check the handbook later. Yes. Shoulder and back massage is indeed Tier 2. Tier 1 is limited to brief hugs under 5 seconds, hand-holding, and cheek kisses. The following evening, I submitted a proper request via the Google Calendar system for shoulder massage, 15 to 20 minutes, scheduled for Thursday at 8 p.m. She declined it. No explanation, just declined. Friday, try to kiss her goodbye before work. She turns her head so I get her cheek. Morning kisses need to be requested the night before, remember? It's just a kiss, Emma. And this is exactly the kind of boundary-pushing behavior the system is designed to prevent. I called my buddy Marcus that weekend. Dude, he said. Dude, are you fucking serious right now? Dead serious. I have to submit a calendar invite to touch my own wife. That's not normal, man. That's not even in the same zip code as normal. She says it's about respecting her autonomy. There's respecting autonomy, and then there's whatever dystopian nightmare this is. What are you gonna do? What am I gonna do? I'm gonna comply. I'm gonna comply so hard. I'm gonna comply so perfectly that she'll see how insane this is. Monday morning, I started my new approach. Emma came into the kitchen where I was making coffee. Morning, she said, and moved to hug me. I stepped back. I didn't receive an advance request for physical contact, I said neutrally. She laughed. Adam, don't be ridiculous. I'm not being ridiculous. I'm following the protocols we established. Spontaneous physical contact creates ambiguity around consent. I need you to submit a request through the proper channels. I'm your wife, and I'm respecting the framework you created to ensure we both feel comfortable and autonomous. Her smile faded. You're being an asshole. I'm being compliant. There's a difference. She stared at me for a solid 10 seconds, then left for work without another word. That evening, she tried to hold my hand while we were cooking dinner. Emma, I'm going to need to see that request in writing. Stop it. Stop what? I'm simply adhering to the relationship optimization framework. All physical contact, Tier 1 and above, requires advance notice. Those are the rules you established. You know that's not what I meant. Then perhaps the handbook needs revision. I'd be happy to attend a meeting to discuss amendments to the current policy. Please send me a calendar invite at your convenience. Her face was getting red. I kept my expression neutral. Corporate drone mode activated. She submitted 3 requests that week via the Google Calendar system. I approved them all, then executed them with perfect robotic precision. Tuesday. Hand-holding during movie, Tier 1, approved for 8 p.m. to 10 p.m. Sit down on couch at exactly 8 p.m. Extend hand in her direction. This is the scheduled hand-holding session. Do you confirm consent? Jesus Christ, Adam? I need a clear verbal yes or no. Yes. Hold her hand. Not warm, romantic hand-holding. Just holding it. Like a business handshake that goes on for 2 hours. No thumb rubbing, no gentle squeezes. Those weren't in the approved description. At exactly 10 p.m., release hand and stand up. This session has concluded. Please remember to fill out your performance feedback survey. Good night. Go to bedroom. She sits on the couch, looking confused and hurt. Thursday. Goodbye kiss. Tier 1, approved for 7:30 a.m. Alarm goes off at 7:25 a.m. Get dressed for work. At exactly 7:30, approach Emma in bathroom where she's doing her makeup. This is the scheduled goodbye kiss. Do you confirm consent? Are you seriously? I need a clear verbal confirmation. Yes, fine. Deliver a kiss. Exactly 3 seconds. Closed mouth. No passion. Pull back. Thank you for your participation. Have a productive day. Leave for work. She didn't fill out the feedback survey for either encounter. Friday night, I sent her a polite email. Dear Emma, I notice you haven't completed the mandatory feedback surveys for our scheduled intimate encounters this week. Per Section 7.3 of the Relationship Handbook, both parties must submit feedback within 24 hours of the interaction. Please complete these at your earliest convenience to ensure we remain compliant with the established framework. Best regards, Adam. She came into the living room where I was reading. This is fucking insane, she said. I'm confused by your response. I'm simply following the system you designed. You're being a robot. I'm being compliant. You said spontaneity and assumption created problems. I'm eliminating those variables. This isn't what I wanted. Then what did you want, Emma? And here's where it got real, her eyes filled with tears. I wanted you to care enough to make me feel safe. I'm literally following every single rule you created to make you feel safe. No, you're making a mockery of it. Stand up. Actually getting angry now. 4 weeks of this bullshit. You created a system that turned our marriage into a human resources manual. You made me get advance approval to touch my own wife. You want me to fill out surveys rating our kisses on a scale of 1 to 10. And when I follow it exactly as written, suddenly I'm the asshole? You're following the letter of it, but not the spirit. What spirit, Emma? The spirit of submitting a formal request 3 days in advance to be intimate with my wife? The spirit of tracking our relationship metrics in a fucking spreadsheet? What spirit? She was crying now. You don't understand the emotional labor I go through. You're right, I don't understand. Explain it to me. Use regular words, not corporate buzzwords, not framework language. Tell me what you actually feel. She couldn't. She just cried and went to bed. I slept on the couch, not because I was trying to make a point, because I was so tired of trying to fix something that might be broken beyond repair. The next week, I submitted my own request through the Google Calendar system. Request for discussion. Current relationship framework, 60 minutes, Saturday, 2 p.m. She accepted it. We sat at the same kitchen table where she'd given the PowerPoint presentation 5 weeks ago. Felt like 5 years. I've been thinking, I said, about the current system. Adam, look, I know I overreacted, but please let me finish. I have the floor for the first 30 minutes per the discussion protocol. Her jaw tightened, but she nodded. I've been 100% compliant with every aspect of the relationship optimization framework. I've submitted requests, filled out surveys, adhered to tier restrictions, maintained appropriate boundaries, and respected all consent protocols. And in doing so, I've realized something. Pause for effect. This system doesn't create intimacy, it destroys it. Because intimacy isn't a business process. It's not optimizable. It's not something you can A/B test and iterate on. It's messy and spontaneous and sometimes awkward, and it requires vulnerability, not protocols. She was quiet. You say I don't understand your emotional labor. You're right, but you never explained it to me like a human being. You created a handbook. You made a corporate presentation. You turned our marriage into a project management exercise. And when I executed it perfectly, you got upset because it wasn't what you really wanted. So what did I really want? She asked quietly. I don't know, Emma. That's the problem. I don't know because you won't tell me. You'll tell me the approved methods for requesting a hug, but you won't tell me why you don't want me to touch you anymore. She started crying again, the ugly kind of crying, the kind that comes from somewhere deep. I don't know either, she whispered. I thought if I could control it, make it safe and predictable, I could figure out why everything feels so hard. But I just made it worse. Yeah, you did. We sat there for a while. I think, I said slowly, we need to see someone, like a real therapist, not an online forum, not a self-help book, a real person who can help us figure out if there's anything left to save. She nodded, but she also said, I don't think there is. And there it was, the thing we'd both been avoiding. The marriage counselor we eventually saw, Emma agreed to 3 sessions, basically confirmed what we already knew. We'd built a relationship on initial attraction and compatibility, but we'd never developed the communication skills or emotional intimacy to weather real problems. When things got hard, Emma had retreated into control systems and I'd retreated into passive resentment. The framework wasn't the problem, it was a symptom. We separated in April. She kept the apartment. I moved in with Marcus for 2 months while I found a place. You did the right thing, Marcus said, helping me move boxes. That shit was toxic, man. Which part? The part where she tried to turn our marriage into a corporate compliance system, or the part where I passive-aggressively destroyed it by following her rules too well? Both? Neither? I don't know, dude. Relationships are fucked up sometimes. Yeah, they are. The divorce was finalized in August. Amicable, mostly. We didn't have kids. We split our assets according to a very detailed spreadsheet Emma created. Of course she created a spreadsheet. I saw her one last time at the lawyer's office for the final signing. I'm sorry, she said. For all of it. Me too. I really thought I was doing the right thing. I thought if I could just create the right system. I know. You probably think I'm crazy. I considered this. Did I think she was crazy? Or just scared and broken in ways? Neither of us understood? I think you were trying to solve a problem that couldn't be solved with rules, I said. I think we both were. She nodded, signed the papers, left. That was 9 months ago. I'm 30 now, dating someone new. Her name's Rachel, she's kind and funny, and when she wants to hold my hand, she just reaches for it. No requests, no frameworks, no surveys. It's fucking terrifying how simple it is. We were cooking dinner last week and she asked about my marriage. I told her the whole story. The PowerPoint, the handbook, the malicious compliance, everything. She was quiet for a moment, then said, "That's really sad." Which part? All of it. That she was so afraid of being vulnerable that she tried to automate intimacy. That you were so hurt, you weaponized her own system against her. That you both lost each other while trying to create a framework to stay together. And that's when I realized Rachel understood something fundamental. That the story wasn't funny. Even though I'd told it like it was. Even though the absurdity was real, it was just sad. Two people who couldn't figure out how to love each other. So they built a system instead. And the system killed what little love was left. I still have the handbook somewhere. 43 pages of desperate control disguised as feminist theory and boundary setting. Sometimes I think about burning it. Sometimes I think about keeping it as a reminder that you can't optimize your way out of human messiness. That intimacy without vulnerability is just a series of scheduled transactions. That sometimes the cruelest thing you can do is give someone exactly what they asked for. I'm emotionally healthy enough now to understand that we were both drowning. I can see that her framework was a life raft made of lead. I grabbed onto it anyway, because I didn't know what else to do. Sometimes there are no winners, just two people who couldn't save each other, and maybe couldn't save themselves. Rachel's calling me. Dinner's ready, she made pasta, there's wine. There are no scheduled discussion periods or feedback surveys. There's just dinner. And somehow, that's enough. Gonna go now. Gonna have dinner with someone who doesn't need a framework to love me. Gonna try not to fuck this one up. Wish me luck, Anons.